Okay, we should be live. Let's see here. There we are. All right, welcome everybody.
Looks like it still says a practice session.
Okay, so we're going to start the webinar. We are live. Our live stream is live, and now our webinar is live. And let me record this as well. Okay, I am recording for the sake of playback. So come on in. I'm watching you guys pile on in here. Let us know when you get in here who you are, and if you are a real estate agent or if you do something else. I have a lot of people. I have more people now starting to log in that are not real estate agents. So let us know. If you're a first timer, please let us know. First timer. Let me open my chat here. Okay, that's attendees. And then we're going to open the chat. There we go. And if you are attending live today from somewhere other than Zoom, let us know that as well. New software, still putting all the connections together. So not able to see all of the comments, I don't think. And so it helps us to see where you guys are coming in from. All right, Matt, welcome. Frederick, Maryland, Matt Verdon. We have a first-time admin, Josephine. Martin Dobie. Hey, Martin, how are you? Real estate agent. Is it actually Martin or is it somebody here for you? Renee, we have Renee Horton. We have Paul Helvin from Seattle, Washington, who happens to be my big brother. We have Courtney Swisher, first-timer, marketing contact manager. All right, I'm doing the greetings. Let everybody get on. Once we get rolling, it's going to be all meat and potatoes, I promise you. So hang on with us just a second. Alex Morrow from Naples, Florida. Eric Ross. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Westlake Village. Okay, got a bunch of you here. Is anybody not a real estate agent? Are you guys all real estate agents? Anybody not a real estate agent? And is anybody logging in from anywhere besides Zoom? That was my other question. So if you're watching anything else besides Zoom. Today, we are going to be covering SEO for 2022. And I'm going to get a little bit geeky on you, but I'm going to try to put this as simply as I can. I'm going to make this as understandable as I can for you. Okay, I'm definitely open to questions as we go. Okay, Jeff, I'm going to introduce you guys to my brother, Jeff Helvin. And Jeff is on with us today to help moderate the chat, answer questions, send out links where appropriate. Jeff, why don't you tell everybody what you do?
All right. Well, I think these days it's what I don't do, right? That's what's great about 2022, a lot of opportunities. But I am one of the owners of Ballen Brands, which Lori originally founded. We help build websites, CRMs, we do marketing, pay-per-click, and so forth. So we're kind of that one-stop shop for you in that department. I'm also a real estate agent on Lori Ballen's team here in the Las Vegas area, Boulder City, Henderson, North Las Vegas, Summerlin. And today I am serving as support. So I am going to help answer questions in the chat and provide some links that Lori will reference throughout, and call attention to Lori if sometimes there might be a question that she doesn't see that would be valuable to everybody. I'll make sure to jump on and pull that out as well. Perfect.
All right. Thank you very much. And if you guys do comment in the comments there, make sure that you have it selected to all so everybody can see it. Kimberly says she's the new self-appointed president of the Jeff Helvin fan club. Good. He's been needing one of those. Okay, perfect. All right, so welcome to all of our first timers. Welcome to all of our Ballen Method VIPs. For those of you guys that are monthly subscribers to the VIP program, don't forget you have access to all the courses, all the bundles, all the past webinars, not just our monthly calls, but all those past courses there as well.
And also one point of housekeeping, if everyone that is chatting, if you can change your chat to everyone instead of just hosts and panelists. That'll make sure that questions that you're asking, and then when I'm responding, of course, too, that everybody will see what we're asking, what we're responding to.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Jeff is going to send you guys a link really quick. And this is going to be the link to this. I printed it so that I have a cheat sheet in front of me, but to this SEO cheat sheet, literally. This is my SEO cheat sheet I made for you this morning at 4 a.m. So I spent from 4 to 6 a.m. putting this together for you guys this morning. It is a PDF, or you can print it, cheat sheet document with everything we're going to talk about today. This includes links to a few of the tools that I'm going to talk about today, and then each of the sections that we're going to cover. Okay. Now, it would take me a lot longer than 1 hour to teach you guys SEO. I'm sure you know that. But I'm going to give you, I did the key components that I think anybody has to know getting started. And if you figure these out, the rest kind of comes along with it over time. So Jeff gave you the cheat sheet there. So you guys can go ahead and grab that. Just go ahead and click the link and then bookmark it on your computer. You do not need to print it for today's class. You're going to want it as a reference after the fact. Okay. Also, under each section that we're going to cover, I included links to full-blown tutorial articles that I've created on that specific topic. So if we get to the point where we get to topic clusters and you want to learn more about topic clusters, there's a link where you can click through and learn more about topic clusters. Okay. So I thought this would be very handy for you. And I also want to let you know that, again, Jeff and Paul Helvin, you just met Jeff, my brothers, their digital marketing company can help with a lot of this. They don't do absolutely everything. I wish they did. But they do all of the SEO content. They build your SEO websites. They run your ads. They can help with your lead magnets, your CRM, basically a lot of it. I don't know that they're doing anything with internal linking yet, but they can do a lot of it. Okay. So if you have questions, just reach out to Jeff and Paul and say, hey, I liked what Lori said about such and such. Do you guys do that piece? Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started then. And I am going to share my screen where appropriate. Okay. And actually, we're going to probably start off there because we're going to start by talking about keyword research. Now, keyword research is a topic in itself that I could teach for hours and hours and hours and hours. So I'm going to give you the basics of what's most important today. Okay, so let me go ahead and go to share my screen, which is right there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with something for free. And then we're going to go into something more complex, which is a paid tool, because it's very hard to do intensive keyword research with free tools. There's a point in time when we can use free, and then there's a point in time when we have to use paid. Okay. Simple, poor man's way of doing research, I call this, is by going into Google and by entering a topic. Okay. So we'll use real estate as an example, since so many of you guys are real estate agents. If anybody is not a real estate agent, you want to let me know what niche you're in. That helps me too. If it comes up and I can use an example, I will. So I'm going to go to Google and we're going to type something in like, let's just go. I'm in Las Vegas, by the way, for those of you that didn't know that. And I have a real estate team also here in Las Vegas. And I'm also a 6-figure affiliate marketer. So I build niche websites with the intent of creating income through ad publishing, through affiliate marketing. And that's where I live. So I do this all day long. And I was going somewhere with that and I forgot. Anyway, we're going to go to Google and I'm going to type in Las Vegas. Oh, because I'm in Las Vegas, we'll use Las Vegas as an example. Now, what happens is, as you can see, as I'm typing into Google Las Vegas, Google is starting to suggest keywords that a lot of people search for. Okay. It's not giving us search volume. It's not giving us competition level. It's just giving us ideas for what people are searching. Okay. Let me open my Q&A. I just saw a hand go up. No, thought I did. Well, Jeff will tell me if I need to, if there's something there to answer. Hold on, let me move that out of the way. There we go. Okay, so Las Vegas. So right here, it says Las Vegas weather and Las Vegas news. So when I started doing this, before I had all the fancy tools, I started using Google and I would type in something like Las Vegas and I would see Las Vegas weather. Excuse me. I would immediately go over to my real estate website and I would create an article all about the Las Vegas weather. Okay. Now, in a minute, I'm going to talk a little bit about domain authority and the competition level of keywords, because you can't just rank for everything. There is kind of a formula. So if you're doing the freeway, you kind of wind up doing a whole bunch of articles that you may not yet be able to rank for because your website's too new or doesn't have enough authority in the space. And I'm going to show you how to check that out. Okay. But this is a starting point. Now, what we keep doing is if you go a little further, let's say we start typing in Las Vegas homes because you're a real estate agent. So I start typing in Las Vegas homes and look what happens. More suggestions. Okay. Las Vegas homes for rent. All right. Let's go with Las Vegas homes. Las Vegas homestead. Ooh, I don't know that I did that one yet. So obviously people are researching Las Vegas homestead. So that might be something I want to go create an article about. So if you're using a free tool like Google, what you're doing right now is you're making a spreadsheet and you're writing these down. Las Vegas homes for sale, Zillow, Las Vegas homes for rent, Las Vegas homestead, Las Vegas homes for sale with a pool. Okay. Because what's happening here is Google is suggesting what all of these terms, we call these long tail keywords. That's when there's 4, 5 or more keywords all strung together that make a much more unique search. So Las Vegas homes might be your more competitive broad term, but Las Vegas homes for sale with a pool is completely different. Now you're specifically targeting people to be looking for homes with a pool. That's going to be less competitive. So when you're first creating articles on your website, or if your website's been around a while, but it doesn't rank really well, you want to nail these long tail keywords. That's really important. Okay. So Las Vegas homes for sale under 300,000, Las Vegas homes with a casita. All right. Now, if you hit enter, it'll open Google and then you can get more of them. Okay. Las Vegas homes for rent with a detached guest house. Look how people search. Super long tail, super specific. Okay. Now, if you put another letter after homes, it'll give you a bunch more. So you could literally, if you don't have any money to invest in SEO tools right now, you could literally go in here and create all of this content that is on that people are typing into Google. Okay. So that's just a little starting point. Okay. Jeff will send you guys out the link again. I saw the question there for the PDF cheat sheet. If you're just joining us on YouTube or social media, I'll be posting those links after the webinar. Okay. All right. So that's the poor man's way of doing keyword research for those long tail keywords. In addition, when you scroll down, you're going to see this people also ask box. And you'll see questions that people are typing in related to that topic. How much does a house cost in Vegas? Are Las Vegas home prices falling? Is Vegas a good place to live? Is Vegas expensive to live? I would want to go to my website and create a blog around each one of those questions. Okay. Now I'm going to skip ahead for a second because we're not going in any kind of necessary order. This cheat sheet is for your reference later. But what I do want to say is that when you're creating these blogs, these Q&A type of response posts, you're probably going to be writing a blog that's in the ballpark of about 1,200 words. Okay, that's just a ballpark. It doesn't mean that Google sits and actually counts the words on the page and scores you higher. It's basically saying how deep you need to dive into that topic. Okay, now I have some really cool fancy schmancy tools that do a lot of this strategic work for me. Okay, let me ask you, poll the audience here. Are you guys interested in seeing the fancy schmancy paid tools, or do you just want me to keep going right now with the free stuff? Remember, you can't really get to the nuts and bolts of things with the free tools when I talk about domain authority and research. But I know some of you guys, I like to kind of hear where everybody's coming from. So it looks like a bunch of you are okay with fancy schmancy. That's a technical term, right? And some of you guys are more on the free base. So what I'll do is I'm going to go into the fancy, but I'm going to tell you where you can get certain things for free. There's just going to be some limitations on it. Okay. All right. So one of the tools that I use, and this is one that I use religiously every day, all day, it's open all the time, is SEMrush. Now, what I'm able to do with SEMrush is I could go here, like I'm on Google, and type something in like Las Vegas homes, like we were just doing on Google. Okay. Now, what SEMrush tells me is the search volume for that keyword. How many searches a month are there for that keyword? Okay. I'm going to jump to a hot point right here on that, a big tip that you need to hear. Okay. If you're just starting out or your website is not ranking really well, find keywords that have small search volume, like literally under 250 searches a month, because you can rank like that. And that's what you want in the beginning. You need to get traffic on that website. So we start with those tiny little keywords that only bring us in a visitor here, a visitor there. All of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, how am I getting 10 visits every day when there's only 250 monthly searches? Because these keywords tools are just estimates. They're just estimates. But what we know is when there's a low search volume, you can probably rank for it. Okay, that's really important. So here's an example of one of those right here. Do Las Vegas homes have basements? So if I'm just starting, or my website isn't really ranking really well for a lot of terms yet, I haven't built it up, I'm going to go create a blog called Do Las Vegas Homes Have Basements? And then I'm going to write about Las Vegas homes with basements, and I might talk about which neighborhoods have homes with basements, and then I'm going to include homes for sale with basements. That's how this works. Like, that is exactly how this works. Okay. So that's a big tip. I hope you heard that. Go for those low search volume when you're first starting out. That's really important. Okay. Now, if I open, actually, let me go right here for a second. So we covered search volume for a second. Okay. Next, we're looking at this score right here, this keyword difficulty. Okay. So Betty asked, how did I get to the screen? So I went right here on my main dashboard. And Jeff, can you send them out the links? Oh, he did. If you try my link down here, Jeff just sent you a link. It'll get you a free trial you can sign up for. I do not know the limitations of the free trial, unfortunately. And I do have an affiliate relationship with the software I use, which means if you wind up making a purchase after a certain amount of time, then, or within a certain amount of time, then I also benefit, but there's no extra cost to you. So up here, we're on the dashboard, you go to this search bar, okay? And I'm going to type in Las Vegas homes, and that is what takes us to this next screen. Okay. So it tells us the search volume. Next, it tells us the keyword difficulty. So this is probably the two things I just told you: creating content around low volume keywords and this part about keyword difficulty, if you get those two things right, that's half your battle, because you're going to know what kind of content to create for SEO right out of the gate. Okay, this is really important. Okay, everybody's website has a domain authority score. Everybody calls it something different. SEMrush calls it an authority score. Moz, who originally came up with a scoring system, calls it a domain authority score. Ahrefs, which is another SEO tool, calls it domain score. So it's like a mix: authority score, domain authority, domain score. Basically, they measure backlinks to your website primarily. They're measuring how authoritative your website appears to be in the space. How long has it been around? How many other websites are linking to it? Well, it takes time if you're not actively out there approaching other websites, trying to get links to your website. It takes a long time to build this domain authority. So when you first start your website, your score is going to be 0. As you start creating content, you will actually start gaining links organically. Things like your social profiles, maybe your Google My Business page, maybe you're cross-posting your articles on Medium or Active Rain or one of these other blog portals. And all of a sudden, you'll start seeing your links are starting to get out there, okay? And as you start building quality content, other websites are going to reference your content, especially when you use things like statistics and infographics and quotes. And I put a lot of that in your cheat sheet because I know I can't dive too deep into that. But I tell you in here how to create useful content that will generate those kind of backlinks. And statistics is a big one. The more you can put stats on your website, the better, okay? So your domain authority score, you start at 0. And in most cases, within a year, you're probably at around a 20 on a scale of 0 to 100. You're probably at a rating of like 20. And then, by year 3, maybe you're at a 30, and it goes up from there. If you are actively doing blog outreach to earn backlinks, which is another webinar we'll do separately, then you could climb faster, okay? But just know that for your first couple of years, probably everything you're going to create is below like the 30 mark scoring system. Well, look over here what we have, 77. So if I just told you, you're probably going to be targeting keywords with a competition level. Your keyword difficulty matches basically domain authority. So look at that keyword difficulty score. If it's not under 30, you probably shouldn't be going after it right now. You've got to build. And as your authority score starts climbing, now you can start going after those harder words. Does that make sense? Is everybody following this scoring system? What you don't want to do is use different tools for this because they measure things differently. So my domain authority score might be a 44 on SEMrush and only a 26 on Moz. So if I start mixing and matching the tool I'm using, it's going to get very confusing. Okay. So I would say if you're looking for your domain if you're looking for your authority score and you want to go with a paid tool like SEMrush, you're going to find that when you set up your project. Okay. You're going to go and you're going to set up your domain name. And then next to your domain name, you'll be able to click on it. It will give your score. Or you can also go up here to SEMrush and you can type in a domain, a domain. Hold on, I'm in the wrong spot. I got to go back to the home screen. There we go. You can type your domain name up here, and then you'll be able to see your score. So I'm a 49 on here. So what that means is when I'm going and looking at traffic or keywords, I need to be targeting keywords that are, I'll usually go like up to 10 points higher. So I'm really targeting keywords that are at the 60 or below difficulty level. So I'm now competing against harder keywords at that level, where when I first started the website, I was only competing against the easier ones. And now it's trending up. Okay. This website, by the way, for anybody that's following a traffic graph there, I actually separated this website a couple of years ago into a bunch of little ones. And I decided I don't have enough time or energy to run them all. So I'm putting them all back onto this one now. So that's why there's like this little traffic like that, because I had split them up. What was that?
There was a question that was asked about how does this work, or can this work on the KW websites? And I had answered it kind of privately, or at least in the Q&A. And then there was another question about how about on Boomtown websites. So it's probably a good time to address, how well we can integrate these tools and the things that you're talking about on these third-party websites.
Okay, so thank you, Jeff. There is no integration required with SEMrush. You can use this keyword on any website. And yes, I have a domain authority score of 27 on the KW. Hold on. That's probably because I had that domain somewhere else before. So let me do this right. What is ours, Jeff? Ballengroup.kw?
No, ballenvegas.kw.com.
Ballenvegas.kw.com. Oh no, it's only pulling the KW site.
Yeah, well, because it's the subdomain. So the two parts I think that are important here is one, that the tool itself, like on a Boomtown website that is your own domain, that's not a subdomain of another one, it would be more relevant. Whereas right now, like you just saw, Lori, the .kw.com is actually analyzing kw.com, not the ballenvegas.kw.com. And then part two,
basically,
of course,
we're building KW's authority, not our own.
Right. And to that point, the other thing that we usually talk about is that when we start to practice the SEO, it's one thing to analyze SEO. Then when we start to practice the SEO methods, or the optimization methods on our own websites, how does that play a role? Like, for instance, on the KW sites, we don't have a lot of opportunity to manipulate data, have long form content, things like that, because we're very isolated in what we can build.
Yeah. So you guys, it's so tough for me because I want to be like politically correct at the same time, but I am just a straight shooter. It's who I am. You're not going to build authority on a KW website. You're not going to be creating long form killer blog posts today the way it's set up on a KW website. Those websites are much more calling cards, business cards. Here's my website. Go do a search. They're not ready yet for the kind of stuff that I do. Okay. You can Jeff and I have done every kind of workaround. We pretty much know how to get content on there. And it's just not, it really is just a website that is part of KW's website. It's not yours. As a matter of fact, you don't even own the .com. And when you sign up, it says it can be transferred to another person when you leave. So personally, in my opinion, and this wasn't a real estate webinar today, I'm just using real estate as an example, and you guys are asking those questions. In my opinion, if you really want to build an asset, you need to have another website rather than the KW one that's being provided. That's not really what that was designed to do. Okay. Jeff and Paul build websites. Jeff and Paul even build out the KW websites, but they also know the limitations of them. You could do a two-part where you're using the KW website, but you're building a WordPress blog, and all of your blogging is going to go on your WordPress. And then maybe you're going to link back to your KW site. But if you really want to build domain authority, you need to be putting it all on your own asset. That is really my opinion. Okay. I think that's really the value. I mean, have your own website if you're going to build it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For those of you that have KW websites or broker provided websites, don't panic. It doesn't mean that you didn't need to enhance those if you did. But if you're going to dive in and really invest, then you probably want to have a secondary website that you actually own. Okay. But it depends on how much you're actually going to go work on this too. That would be the question. Ask Jeff. Jeff will tell you. Do a call with Jeff on the side. Tell him what your plans are. Jeff will tell you whether or not you can do it on the KW side or need another one. Right?
Yeah,
Jeff?
and I do that all the time. I kind of tell, especially in the real estate genre, I say, well, if you're gonna build onto a house that you're renting, right, you don't get to take that with you. So maybe you don't want to do that. If you're not going to build on the house, well, you can still rent. right? Like it's fine. It just really depends on how you're going to be utilizing this tool. And I will absolutely give you all the maybe what ifs and help you decide that too. And we're very objective because we certainly don't want to feed you something that you're not going to use. It doesn't make any sense for any of us. So we'll happy to have that conversation.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so even if you have a domain that you have registered on GoDaddy and you are forwarding it or pointing it at your KW site, it's not building any authority on either one, technically. Okay, so that just makes it a quick, easy redirection. Having a long-term website, having a domain that you buy though, having an age domain does have benefits. So I highly recommend everybody who has a KW or broker provided, whoever you're with, website, go register a domain name and forward it to your KW website. That way you can take that domain with you or your broker provided website, and it'll age over time. And that does have some value. Jeff, do you have my GoDaddy link? So I actually have instructions on, I have a video on my YouTube channel. It tells you how to register on GoDaddy and then how to forward that to your KW website. So after the fact, if you don't have it now and you need it, reach out to me or Jeff and we'll get it for you. Okay, but Jeff, you can let me know if I need to send out my GoDaddy link. I did not put it on the cheat sheet there. Okay. All right. So authority score, you want to be going for keywords that are at or under your own keyword score. Now, for those of you that are looking for free, you're going to want to go over here to moz.com. Let me see. It's the Moz toolbar. Here it is right here. So it's a Google Chrome extension, or you can go to their website. I think they have somewhere on their website that you can also put it in. And this is what it's going to look like. You're going to see a little tiny box. I don't know if you can see this up here in my, I don't know if you can see that online. Up here in the right-hand corner is a little tiny 91. And that is, I'm looking at my screen to see if you guys can see it. That is the domain authority score of this site. So that is a free way to check your own score. But remember, you don't want to be bouncing back and forth because Moz is going to be 20 points under what SEMrush is because they weigh things a little bit differently. It's not a score Google's giving. It's specific to the tool that's providing it. And they measure things a little bit differently. Okay, is that helpful? So there's your free version. I stick with SEMrush because this is the tool that I do everything in. Okay, now what I would do next after typing in Las Vegas homes up here, I would then go down into this view all keywords, and I'm going to do a little filtering to find only keywords that are within the competition level that I'm going after. Okay, so right here, there is a little guy called keyword difficulty. If I drop that down, I can say only show me very easy keywords to compete against. Only show me easy keywords to compete against. Only show me possible keywords to compete against. Show me difficult ones. Or I can just say, show me anything from 0 to 30. Let's just say, because remember, I gave you that number 30. Let's look at what's in there. Now it's going to filter out all of the stuff you really can't compete against right now. Now, I say can't, but it's not impossible. There's always some crazy outliers that happen, but for the most part, okay? So here's what I can rank for today. Home inspections in Las Vegas, funeral homes, next gen homes. Oh my gosh. Well, those are big in Vegas. And that is a blog that I've actually created all about next gen homes. So somebody who wasn't using a keyword tool might not even think about, oh, we do have a lot of next gen homes. I don't know if you guys have them. That's where they have like a mother-in-law quarters. There are a separate entrance for your college kid or the parents, multiple families living together. Love that. Okay. First Key Homes, home decor stores, Home Depot jobs, Los Prados, Las Vegas homes for sale. That's a neighborhood. Rhodes Ranch, Las Vegas homes for sale. That's a neighborhood. Are you getting the idea here? and you go create all this content first before you do any of the competitive stuff. Then over here, there's a set of questions. So this is just like that people also ask on Google. Here's the list of questions that are non-competitive that you could rank for. Okay, is that helpful? Is this like making sense with you guys? So you can use the Google tool. You just won't know the search volume on those questions and things like that. But this is a great tool for that type of keyword research. So the next thing you would want to do is you would want to sit down and you want to put it, I use Google spreadsheets, and you would want to open a spreadsheet and you want to make a list of all the content that you're going to create. Then you have to decide how much content you're going to create and when. Okay. In my opinion, it's a minimum of once a week. It's a minimum of once a week. If you can't compete to 4 pieces of content in a month, you probably shouldn't be doing this, because that's really going to be challenging to go anywhere with 1 piece a month. So 1 a week is what I usually tell people. And you're going to sit down and you're going to create a list. Now, I have a topic in here on your cheat sheet called topic clusters. In real estate, you don't have as many topic clusters as much as you do have various zip codes or maybe neighborhoods, things like that you'd write about. A topic cluster is when you take a topic and you create all of these little subtopics related to that topic, and then they all link to each other. And it gives Google a really good picture of the relationship between them. And if one of them starts doing well and ranking high, it can pass link equity to the other pages. So all of the posts in that category or all the pages and subpages in that section end up ranking better because they're part of a cluster. Google rewards topical relevance. So the more you write about one thing, write it first in a batch, the quicker you're going to rank for that one thing. So for example, if you want to dominate and you're a real estate agent and you want to dominate for golf course properties, sit down and create an entire list of the golf course properties, as long as they're not overly competitive. Okay. So when you're publishing a batch of content and you make your spreadsheet, put related content together and do them in batches. That way you're showing Google your topical relevancy. Okay. So that's another thing on the topic clusters. And I've done separate webinars, and in the Academy, you have courses on all of this. Today, I'm just kind of giving you the umbrella of all of it. Okay. So batch as much as you can in clusters. For example, if I wanted to rank for Las Vegas zip codes, some of you guys saw me go to number 1. So I was like at the bottom of page 3, and I took it to number 1 for Las Vegas zip codes, Las Vegas zip code map. And now, jockeying for the top position with the other 2 that are in the top 3 now. We're doing that Google dance. What I did is I created a topic cluster with all of the Las Vegas zip codes. So I created a page for 89138, and I wrote all about that zip code. And then 89128, and I wrote about all of that zip code. And I included the homes for sale in each one of those: schools, shopping, transportation, what's that neighborhood, what's that zip code known for, that kind of thing, And then once I did all of those, I created one, what we call a pillar post. And that's the mama blog. That's the long form blog that really covers the gamut. So that one has a zip code map. That one has a spreadsheet with all the zip codes. Okay, so that's the pillar post, the long major piece of content that I really wanted to rank for Las Vegas zip codes. So then I went to each one of those child pages, the 89128, 89134, all of those content clusters, those smaller ones. And I linked back up to the pillar post from all of those. So all of those that started ranking started passing link equity up. And that's what pushed the Las Vegas zip codes up to the top. That's a topic cluster. So if I want to rank for zip codes, rather than writing one zip code a month, I'm going to spend all of my energy for a year writing on zip codes. And I'm just going to fill the website up with all the zip codes and try to rank for those zip codes, as long as they're not too competitive. That still applies. Okay, that makes sense. So we covered keyword research. We covered domain authority. We talked about pillar posts. We talked about topic clusters, and we talked a little bit about internal linking. Now, this is something that I see people miss all of the time. I'm going to give you a quick example of what this looks like. I'm going to go to my website, loriballen.com, and I'm going to open this affiliate marketing for beginners guide. This is where I teach people how to do affiliate marketing. This is exactly how I create my content. There's a featured image, there's an intro, there's a video oftentimes, and I do have ads on my website because I monetize with ads. And then I'm providing, there's my call to action, my lead magnet. See, there's an example of spreadsheets and resources, really valuable, long form, useful content. I ask myself, is this useful to my audience? Will they know how to do affiliate marketing after they read this? If the answer is no, I have failed, and I need to make sure that they have all the resources that they need. Okay. Somebody, are you asking for the link to this, Ursula? I'll paste it in there for you. I think that's what you're asking. Okay. So I have a paid tool, and you can do this for free, very manually, or you can use a paid tool. I have a paid tool, and Jeff's going to send you out the link to a tool called Link Whisper. I believe it's a one-time, I think it's an annual purchase. It might be an annual license. I don't know much about the pricing system there. I just bought it, and I think it renews every year. Okay, if I wanted to, internal linking is when one page on your website links to another page on your website. Okay, so you'll see me do this all the time. If I'm talking about affiliate marketing, here's a good example. I say they also receive search engine love for having additional inbound links. Dude, I just literally picked up an excerpt of exactly what we're talking about. That was crazy. Which of course is good for search engine optimization. Well, when you click on that link, see it's highlighted blue. When you click on that, it goes to another page on this website that's all about search engine optimization. That's what internal linking is. And it is a must, because those actually count kind of as backlinks. Your own domain can link to your website, and you can get more domain authority that way. Each page has a certain amount of its own authority score, not just your domain, but every page on your website has a score. And part of that link equity flows out to the page that you're linking to. So it receives some of that Google juice, people call it, but link equity, part of it passes from here to here. So that has value. Also, when Google crawls your website to find out what it's all about, to pull in all your new pages, it constantly is coming out and crawling. It finds these links, and it goes from one page to the next. It helps it crawl more of your website, and it helps Google see the relationship between the pages. So you're providing a quality user experience, and you're telling Google the relationship between all of these pages, creating somewhat of a virtual topic cluster. Okay, very, very valuable. So if I click edit, while that's popping up, Beth says, if you have an older site, which is not dynamic, does that hurt in the Google ranks? Not exactly sure what you mean by that. None of these pages are dynamic. There's nothing that's updating automatically like IDX or.
I would take that as maybe like it's an older site that they haven't done anything with. It may not be on WordPress or may not be on a content management platform. So it was kind of built as a, a site to recognize the business, but then it's really never been touched since then.
Well, I don't understand that. Does it hurt if it hasn't been?
Yeah, like is not updating your website a factor? I think would be the easiest way to simplify that.
Google will stop crawling your website if it doesn't have fresh content. So that's one thing. So over time, your content does kind of decay, and you will start getting bumped out by other competitors. It's less about Google saying, oh, they're not doing anything, let me push them aside, and more about all the new people are coming up that are creating a bunch of relative content, and they're just going to take your spot and you're going to get continuously pushed down. Google will de-index pages that aren't updated. They will de-index that page. They'll take it out of their database if it's not updated. I do not know how long that happens or what cues that, but it can happen. Okay. So yeah, you want to make sure your website's getting updated. Absolutely. Fresh content's very important. Okay. And updated content, updating old content that has broken images, broken links, incorrect stats, that type of thing. I make a habit of every year going in and updating content. Now there's content that's evergreen, meaning it's not time sensitive. It's not about a special event. It's, you know, how to stage your house can last forever. But still, if it just sits there stale and doesn't get anything new and fresh, and all of these other people are coming in and creating newer, fresher, long form content, then that one will get pushed down. So it's a good habit to put these on a cycle. Okay. So internal linking. If I create this blog post and I publish it, I hit publish, and then I click edit. Down at the bottom, I have a tool. It's a WordPress plugin that I pay for called Link Whisper. Jeff, did you find that link? I lost my chat now all of a sudden. I don't know what I
It's
did.
in there.
Oh, there it is. Okay, thanks. Okay. Scroll down. This is a really long form content. Okay. Scroll down. There it is. It's under the Yoast plugin. Okay. All right. Here, this is Link Whisper. And what Link Whisper is saying is, we have scanned your website and we think that there might be places that you can add links to other pages on your website. So it's highlighting which section it believes matches a particular article that you have written. You can scroll down, and if they match, you can check a little box and it will then put that link in there for you when you update this blog post. And if it doesn't match, this is what I find a lot of times. My websites get big and it suggests things that could be related, but not really the one I want to link to. So for example, this says, someone suggested to me that I apply to their affiliate program. Well, I have a section all about affiliate programs. So instead, I might click this custom link and I can paste the right link in there, or I can do a scan of my website by typing in keywords. Now, these are all pages on my website. So I can find the appropriate one and I can click there, and you go all the way down and do this. And then at the end, I hit publish. And now all those links show up on those pages without me going to each one of those pages. And that I know that's a little geeky, but if any of you guys are into this type of stuff, this is an awesome tool. It's just incredible. And then you can also go up here and click add inbound links, and then it'll scan the website and it'll tell you which other pages should link to this page. And then I go in and click them. So that's what you can also just go in one by one and say, where was that SEO one? So anywhere I mention the word SEO, let me take this back up to the top there. Okay, so I mentioned the word SEO. There it is. I can just highlight this. This is creating a hyperlink. And then I can click that link right there. And then I can find my SEO blog post that I want to link to. And if you don't know your website very well, you want to keep a spreadsheet with all of your content on it so that you know what you want to be linking to. I know that mine is this one right here, this blog SEO one. Okay, we can do another webinar where we dive really deep into internal linking, and I can show you a bunch more of those practices, but that is something that you want to get in habit of doing early. I encourage everybody to create 3 or 4 pillar posts or skyscraper posts on your website, even if they're for competitive terms, that you're going to link to often. Okay, so if you're a real estate agent, you probably want to have a pillar post that's how to buy a house in San Diego. You probably want to have a blog post called how to sell a house in San Diego. You might want to have one that's all about, what else would you refer to all the time? That would be competitive. Buy a house, sell a house. I don't know, maybe it has to do with investing, or at least buy and sell. So everybody should have a pillar post about buying or selling a house if you have a real estate website. Then every time you write an article and you mention the home buying process or buying a house or first time home buyer, the process is arduous, but here's what could happen. You're going to highlight those and you're going to link to your how to buy a house pillar post. That is how I would start this internal linking structure. Then when you go create a blog post called everything about the home inspection, or whatever, that we saw one for the home inspection on our keyword tool, I can't remember what it said, but the Las Vegas home inspection. Then every time you say the word home inspection, home inspector, inspect your home, you're going to link to your blog that's all about the home inspection. Okay, that's the internal linking strategy. In addition to that, you want to link off of your website to other authoritative, reputable websites as a resource. So for example, if I'm creating a blog post all about how to buy a house, I might want to say Realtor.com put out a study in 2022 saying that 50% of all home buyers are first-time home buyers. Then I would take that statistic and I would create a link to that report. Google finds that valuable. Users find that valuable. Okay. Now, I'm giving you the cheat sheet, but there's one more thing I absolutely have to show you. You have to get this right. Okay. This is the other most important thing. Probably shouldn't have saved it for last, but it's important. The on-page SEO, I've got a cheat sheet here for you. That's pretty simple. Where you put your keywords, how you create, that's the easy part. Okay. This part up here is what you really have to understand. So I'm going to close with this last part. You must understand the user intent before you create the content, because you won't know what to create. But Google has given us a free way to look at what the user intent is. So for example, if we go over to Google and somebody wants to sell their house. So you want to rank for something like, how much is my Las Vegas house worth, right? Okay. How much is my Las Vegas house worth? Or how much is my, they're probably going to type in how much is my house in Las Vegas worth? Probably just how much is my house worth. And Google already knows they're in Vegas, but let's take a look here at what's already ranking. Okay. So the first one there is Zillow. And if you open that blog and look at it, it is a market report. It's basically saying the average price in Las Vegas is $384,931. And it's got a little map. To me, they shouldn't even be ranking #1 for this. That's not great content. But because they're such an authority with a 90 domain authority, they're hard to beat. Okay, so we looked at that one. Now let's go look at some of these other ones that are ranking in here. So I would take each one of these and I would open them and look at them and see what they have in common. Okay, what you're seeing here is that Google has already ranked the top 10 pages that solve the best user intent and or have the highest domain authority score. And what I already have seen by popping on several of them is they want a market report. They want to see this is the average price range, because how you know this is because all the ranking blog posts have all of this data about the market. So you want to imitate that. Now, let's just say you wanted to rank for how to let's do best way to prepare a home for sale. I'm just making something up. Okay. Then you do the same thing. How to prepare your house for sale. How to prepare your house for sale. The comprehensive guide to preparing your house for sale. 10 things sellers miss when they prep their house for sale. 15 easy ways to prep your house for sale. So what Google is saying is, I want to see a list. I want to see a list of what this person needs to know to sell their house. Now, a list could just be these headings. This is a list, heading, paragraph, heading, paragraph. They just didn't number it, but it doesn't have to be numbered to be a list. But a little tip, numbering your list, get more clicks. Getting more clicks can help you rank higher on Google. That's another topic with click-through rate. So if I were this person, I'd probably number this because they've got how to prepare your house for sale. It could be 12 ways to prepare your house for sale, but maybe they tested it and the how-to question is getting more clicks than the other. But when I see listicles on a search engine, numbered lists, it tells me I probably want to try a numbered list. Okay. Is this making sense? Another thing is, what is the best neighborhood in Las Vegas? What is the best neighborhood? Real estate's easy actually, because it doesn't vary too much, where a lot of the other topics, you have videos, you have maps, you have carousels, you have all kinds of things, where real estate, we don't see as much of that. Real estate still has more of the classic blue link, so it's not quite as hard. Okay. But look at what is the best neighborhood to live in Las Vegas? Number one, here we have best neighborhoods in Las Vegas, 5 best places to buy a home, 5 best neighborhoods, a guide to the best neighborhoods. Okay. Then you open them and take a look. And it's obviously going to be a list of the neighborhoods. There you go. There's the list. And why? So you want to create the same content. Don't steal their words. Don't take their content. But when you see everybody's using lists, you want to create something that is a list like them, because Google is saying this is what we expect to see. Okay. So before you ever create any content, it's incredibly important that you go look at what's already created, create something similar. My favorite tool, paid tool for creating on-page content is right here, and it's called Phrase, and I have it open. So if I go to a new document, I'm not sure if you have my link to Phrase yet, Jeff, and I'm not sure what that gets everybody else, probably a trial of some sort. I know the Jarvis one did. Target search query, Las Vegas. No, let's do best neighborhoods in Las Vegas. Best neighborhoods in Las Vegas. Create document. Now watch this. This will blow your mind. Not only is this an AI writing tool, meaning it'll help write your articles for you. These AI tools are not good though for hyperlocal, in my opinion. An AI robot writer can do a great job telling you how to stage a house, how to sell a house, how to buy a house, but they're not good with details and facts. So I don't like them for neighborhood pages, by the way, just FYI. But anyway, I have the SEO upgrade on this component. So it's Phrase with an SEO upgrade, but watch what it does. If I go to Let's Go right here, it's going to go out and it's going to scan all of the top ranking blogs for me. And SEO content, SEMrush does that too, but this goes one step further. It's going to create for me an actual outline and a brief of what should be on this page. It's also going to show me each of the top ranking pages, their word count, how much each one of them, how much they wrote on each one. And then it's going to offer links and all kinds of different ways to make this content. If I were hiring an admin today, this is where I'd put her or him, them. I would put them on Phrase. 100% hands down. This is where I'm starting at. There's a learning curve. I trained my sister on this. She did a lot of training on herself. There's a little bit of a learning curve when you first get on here. I can help with that. If enough of you guys ended up using it, I'd be happy to teach it to you. But look right here, average word count, 1,500. So I know going in, this is going to be at least a 1,500 word count blog. How many paragraphs and headers? 4. How many links? How many images? The average images are 6. Eric, great question. Eric asked, how different is Phrase and Jarvis? Believe it or not, Eric, I actually pay for both because I think Jarvis is a better AI writer, but Phrase has the much better SEO tool. So unfortunately, I have not found one that I love the most of everything, but Phrase does a good job writing too. But there's certain things with Jarvis, I like to do a little bit more freehand style writing, where Phrase is a little bit better at the technical side of things. So they're just a little different. Jarvis merges with Surfer SEO, but it doesn't do this. It doesn't do this. So if I go over here and I create optimize, it tells me all of these keywords that other people have used in their articles. So if I have an admin, she doesn't live in Vegas, or they don't live in Vegas, they could just go, oh, I need to talk about master plan communities. Oh, I need to talk about the arts district. Oh, I need to talk about Lake Las Vegas. I need to talk about downtown Summerlin. I mean, it's just there. Like, it's so different, right? And then here's a list of all the questions people ask about neighborhoods. Here's a link to Wikipedia articles all about Las Vegas. Here's the AI writing tool if I want to let it write for me. And then I can even go down and create a bunch of headlines. It goes on and on and on. So I'm not going to keep going. But what I want you to see is that with some good resources today, SEO does not need to be as hard as you think it is. There's just a little bit of key components that you need to learn. And then you just need to write content, write content, write content, write content, write content, create content, create content. I cannot tell you that enough. I mean, that's all I do. I create content all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Now you can hire that out. Jeff and Paul at Ballen Brands create content. You can hire some of it out. You can hire out just your pillar posts, or you can hire out your community pages, or whatever it is. Or you can hire an intern at the college, or you can use writing houses. There's all kinds of ways to do this, or you can write it yourself, right? You could create one of these in a week, a 100-word blog post in a week using a tool like this. And if you don't have the money to do the paid tool, you do the research manually, and Google will show it all to you. You're just going to be going in and maneuvering it all more yourself. Okay. All right. So that basically takes up our hour. You guys have the cheat sheet, though, that's really going to help you go back and reference and dive deeper into each one of these components more manually. Feel free to reach out to Jeff if you're confused, or you have questions, or you want to know his opinion on having this site or that site. They're definitely there for that. And yes, Eric. So phrase is basically Jarvis with SEO steroids. Exactly. You got it. So was that helpful, you guys, before I let you go? Did you get some use out of it? If nothing else, I hope that you at least got, yes, I want to do this, or no, I don't want to do this. I want you to kind of see what it all entails on there, right? So I appreciate you guys so much for joining me today, and look forward to the next one with all of you guys. And if you have any questions after the fact, or need that video that I talked about earlier, now I can't remember what video it was, just reach out and let us know, and we will talk to you.